If you are hanging out with people that, like we were saying, are only at $60,000 a year, and you are making only $60,000 a year, is because you're making that choice to hang out with these people, to do the things they do, to go to the bars on the weekend, to drown out your sorrows of needing to work a 9 to 5. And you hate your boss, you hate your job, you hate waking up early. You're making that choice every day.
Welcome to the Online Entrepreneur Experience podcast that details the ins and outs, the how-tos, and the ups and downs of living a life of an online business owner.
Welcome to another episode of the Online Entrepreneur Experience. This is my main man, Deuces. He's back with me, and I am obviously the Viking marketer. And we're going to be jamming out, I think, on one of the most important topics when it comes to success, happiness, and abundance in life and in business. But what are we going to be talking about today, bro?
Well, I want to touch on the importance of your support system and who you associate with day to day with business, life, exactly what you already touched on.
Love it, love it. And how much better is your life being since you started associating with me?
It is exponentially better every single day.
I love it.
It's just the exponential curve.
Like being around the Viking marketer, right? Like that's what happens, right?
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Oh my God. So what, like when you talk about surrounding people, it's like, what does that include? Is that like work people, friends, family, just random people you meet on the street? Like who does that actually include?
Well, I feel that it includes absolutely everyone in every aspect of your life. If you are hanging around with people, let's say a brother-in-law, it's family, you can't really choose your brother-in-law, but if he is a super negative person and everything's going wrong and you try to celebrate stuff with that person and they are just this negative person, then what you got to do is just distance yourself from that person and maybe don't go to that person for advice or to celebrate any wins with, because you're just going to get that negativity. And then that negativity is actually going to reflect on you. So you are going to start seeing the negative things as well. It just goes hand in hand with that old saying, if you hang out with 5 homeless people, you will end up being the 6th. So that's why it is so important to watch who you're hanging out with, who you associate with every aspect of your life.
You know, like in the digital era that we like live in now, I think it almost like, and you can tell me, I would love to hear your opinion on this, but in the digital area that we live in now, I would almost say like the influences that you listen to every single day as well. So like music, podcasts, books, all those kind of things, like, because that's also where your energy is going and your energy is flowing. Would you include that in who is surrounding you, like almost like it's all the influences in your life, or how do you think on that?
Yeah, totally. Because all the information that is coming into your head is, I'm going to get a little woo-woo here, but it's changing the frequencies. It's changing it's a little woo-woo, but it's changing the frequencies and your thought patterns and everything. So if you're just sitting there listening to death metal and they're just talking about, and don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with death metal. I enjoy some death metal from time to time. But if that's all you listen to and they're just talking about, whatever, death, and then you will notice, and you'll see this all over the world. If someone listens to death metal, they probably wear black, and I'm being very stereotypical here. So if you get offended, I apologize ahead of time.
Let them know in the comments section. Eat them alive down there.
Yeah. If I offend you, let me know in the comments for sure. And I will personally apologize. So someone who listens to death metal all the time, typically they're going to wear black, they're going to have black hair, they're just going to have that look. And you can just tell by looking at someone what type of music they listen to. So, I mean, there's some anomalies out there that will surprise you, because I listen to country. But I do like being out in the sticks and stuff like that. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So if you are going to be listening to any sort of podcast and anything, it needs to align with who you view yourself as down the road. Because if you want to be a multi-millionaire, but you're listening to podcasts about fantasy books or something, it's not going to align you. It's not going to set the vibrations in your head and your thought patterns to be that person, that multimillionaire.
Fantasy land. Yeah, you 100%. You're going to be a fantasy land. Most likely, you're going to be delusional on what it takes to be successful because you're creating your own realities at that point in time. You're creating your own measurings for what is successful or what is all those things, even when it's not actually true in real life, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Totally makes sense. And you hit a little bit on before about like negative, right? Like if you have a negative brother-in-law that has negative tendencies, that trashes things, has all that good stuff, right? Or bad things. So does it work both ways? So if you surround yourself with bad people, you're more like prominently going to be having bad actions or have unsuccessful people on like unsuccessful actions? Or does it also work if you hang around with a bunch of successful people or good people, you'll also be successful and good? Like, does it work both ways or does it only more lean one to the other?
It goes both ways. Because if it's the same thing, if you have a family member that is successful and they are super uplifting every time you're hanging out with them, you get that sense of excitement. You're like, oh, what? We're going to this uncle's house or this brother's house or whatever. You get excited because you know that they bring you a lot of value and you want to be like them.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I mean, like it's one of those things when you're around the right people, obviously they're gonna lift you up. And I love being around people and getting in those kind of crowds that are above my station. I've told you this before. It's just like I hate being the smartest guy in the room. Like it sucks to be the smartest guy in the room because everyone's looking at you, right? And you're not going to be able to rise. You're probably going to actually lower your station if you're the smartest person in the room constantly, right? So it's so amazing. And I forget who said it. One of the people I listened to, he's like, your goal should always be that you're the dumbest person in the room. And if you do that, you'll end up being so much more successful and your exponential growth will go up so much.
I agree with that to an extent. I don't always want to be the dumbest person in the room because the people that are a lot smarter and a lot more successful, they're going to look at you as you're the one who they need to eliminate out of their circle because they are also trying to level up. So there was a guy, his name is Justin Pierce. He's a major business influencer, and he said it's the rule of 33. So 33% of your friends list or 33% of the people you associate with should be where you want to be. Then 33% should be on the same plane so that you can mastermind with them to get to that level. And then 33% should be people below you that you are helping bring up so that you can give value to those people and you can actually have the sense of pride when they get up to your level. Now they're on this plane with you and you are all trying to get to the top.
I love that. I think that's an interesting way of thinking about it. Very meta, right? Like very analytical with that. But I think it's very profound all at the exact same time. Now, I agree. I think every good mentor, their goal should always be like their mentee to pass them. Like that is the definition of a good mentor. If none of your people are passing you, you're probably not doing a good enough job, or you're just doing such a good job of always leveling yourself up that they're always trailing behind. One of the two. So with those like three stations of people or three tiers of people that you have on your friends list, would you say that you would interact with all of them the exact same way then?
Probably not, because those that are quote unquote above you, that you are trying to reach their level, you need to be in learn mode. You need to be open. You need to be accepting of any advice or value that they give, but you don't want to have that same mentality with the people that you're trying to help up or the people that you are mentoring, because you don't want to learn from them. You don't want to be open to their advice. What you want to do is take the value that you got from the upper echelon and pass it back down so that you can help them raise their standards as well.
Interesting. Yeah, I would totally agree with you being like, you need to treat them differently. I would almost say like in the stance of your actions. Like the people above you, you need to be giving them value in different ways. Maybe you can't give them the knowledge-based value, but you can give them your time or experience in something that you have an expertise in. And I know like Alex Hormozy, like he's talked about this, about, you know, he went into these mastermind groups and he knew nothing about business, and all these people were better at business at that point in time than him, but he was really, really good at sales. So he kept offering people like his time, his expertise on like editing their sales scripts and stuff like that. So then he had those things in the back pocket that they would keep like downloading on him, because he's also providing them value. So I mean, like I think it doesn't always have to be the fundamental values. I think like, you know, you can give value in different ways, but you just have to make sure that there is an even trade. I think that is the biggest issue with a lot of relationships. And I know for myself, some of the people that were surrounding me, it wasn't even trades. And I've eliminated those people from my life. Is I was just the one giving value. I was the one giving time. I was the one giving everything, and they weren't giving anything. And those are those vampires you like to talk about, right?
Yeah, those energy vampires, those time vampires that just suck all the life out of you. They're the ones that I would consider below you. I hate saying below, like I'm better than you, but just
when I talk like that, she's just like, people are below you, Mark. I'm like, that's not what I mean.
Well, that's exactly it. They're not physically below you. I mean, you're 6'5", so
6'5".
So they are physically below you, but it's not a sense of ego. It's not below you when you consider your ego. It's just below you as far as where they are in their journey to success.
Yeah, the game of life, essentially, right?
Exactly, the game of life, where they are. So it's not that they're below you, it's just that they haven't gotten to the same level as you. So you need to teach them to bring them up. And if all they're doing is sucking the energy out of you, that's when you know that these are the people that you don't want in your circle. They're not accepting of the value. They're not accepting of the teachings that you're trying to help them with. So they sit in this bottom pool of self-pity, and they expect everything to happen for them. And so you need to eliminate them from your life, because they're going to suck all your energy, all your time, and it limits how high you can actually rise up.
I agree. And it goes to the same thing as like clients that you have. Like there's some clients that I've had to fire. And I've spoke about it in previous podcasts. Like I had people that were paying me 5-10K a month, and I fired them. I was just like, nah, sorry. Like, it's just like, this is just like killing me and all my other facets of my business. Because like, you're just like a vampire, and we just don't align with each other. Right. Like, and that's where it's like the whole surroundings, like all your influences, all of those type of thing, like all the people. So with that being said, so I'm talking about firing clients, like that's obviously easier. You just have to take the hit to your financials. Like what if it's like people that are unable to like remove from your life? Maybe you're working a 9-to-5 job, and those people are the people that you work with, or maybe you're just working with people. So you can't like eliminate them from your life, because you have to see them or talk to them because they're in a group or whatever, and you have no control over that. I mean, the only control would be for you to leave, and it's not conducive to your success. So what would you do in those kind of situations?
So in those kind of situations, I mean, it goes beyond coworkers. It can also be family members. It can even be a spouse. And when you're in those situations and it's someone that is kind of sucking all the energy out of you, but you can't get rid of them out of your life, you need to have that hard conversation with that person. You need to tell them straight up that you are trying to do this, and what they are doing and how they're acting is actually limiting you. So set those expectations with these people so that they are fully aware of your intentions with their relationship. And that's either going to do one of two things. That's either going to kill the relationship, and they're going to end up being the one that leaves, or they're going to be accepting of what you said, and they will now know that they are being these energy and time vampires, and they will make the changes within themselves. But if you don't have that hard conversation, they have no idea.
Yeah, and they don't. And I think that is the biggest thing. People decide to not have the conversation instead of just having this simple conversation. Not saying it's easy, but a simple conversation to just set the standards and what you need and what your expectations are. And so often people won't tell you what their expectations are, but have it in their heads and then like hold you accountable for it, right? So other people are setting their expectations on you, but for some reason you're not doing it for them.
Yeah, exactly. I've had coworkers that I've had to have this hard conversation with, and it is, like Mark said, it's a simple idea, it's a simple concept, but it's not an easy task. And I've had those hard conversations, and it just comes down to how receptive the other person is. And with a coworker, it's difficult because you still need to work with this person, whether they decide to snuff you and not want to talk to you anymore, or if you actually come to some sort of agreement. It's still a difficult situation, but those difficult situations end up getting better over time. So it's only difficult in the short term, but the difference is you either fight a little bit now to get what you need, or you're going to have to fight more later. Because if you let this pattern continue for so long, then what happens is you get accustomed to it, they get accustomed to it, and now you're trying to level up, but this person is holding you back so much. So now the hard conversation, it gets even harder the more you let it go. So fight now or fight more later. The choice is yours.
I love that. I love that. The fight more now or fight more later. Like the fight's coming, but it's just when. And I think whenever you can control the fight, that's when it's going to work out better. Because if you don't know and you're going to be blindsided and maybe you're having a bad day when that fight comes to you, like either you're not going to deal with it the way that you want to, and then you don't get the desired outcome, or you just end up blowing up. And then once again, you don't get the desired outcome. So it's always better just to control those narratives. But so many people, once again, they try to give away the control instead of having that. And then they can't rise above their station. Now, if you're around a bunch of people that are around your station, like I was saying, like say you're around a bunch of people making $60,000 a year, what's the likelihood if you are like an exceptional human being, you have super like big drive, super big hustle, and you're like, I'm tired of only making 60,000, but you're like, these are my friends, these are the only people I want to interact with, but I want to make more money. I want to be more wealthy. What's the likelihood of that person being able to hit that success?
It's going to be a lot more difficult because, like we said, if you are who you hang out with, so if your 5 friends are making 60,000 a year, chances are you're going to be making around the same, maybe a little bit more because you have a little bit more drive. But in order to double, triple, quadruple that amount every year, you're going to have to start hanging out with people that are at that level already, or at the very least, distance yourself from those people just a little bit, while at the same time taking on value and information from the people that you want to become like. And then eventually it's just going to drift apart and you're going to rise up, and you'll still be friends. You can still hang out, but now they are looking up to you. And then that's the 33% that you need to be pulling up with you, because you are still friends with them. You still enjoy their company. You just don't want to end up exactly like them.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And it is. It's just, it's very hard because what happens is if they're all still going out to the bar every weekend, you're going to have that social pressure to go out to the bar with them every single weekend. You're going to want to like go out and do those things with those people because they are the people you've always done those things to. And the more that you hang around with the people that have the habits that you're trying to remove from your life, the more that you're going to have those habits in your life, right?
100%, 100%.
It's just like, I think it's so funny. So many people try to test their discipline, and it's just like, don't test your discipline, remove the things. And that's the discipline. The discipline is of the removal of the thing, not the actual, like putting yourself in a bad situation, seeing if you're going to not fuck this one up. Maybe you don't for the first couple times, but eventually you're going to mess it up, right?
Yeah, totally.
So is there like a story that you have about like something similar to that? Like maybe you're lacking discipline, maybe you're just having the wrong people in your life, and like it either worked out very, very good in an impactful way or a very, very bad in an impactful way with having the surrounding people in your life?
Well, I can probably give you an example of both.
Should I get my
Obviously,
popcorn?
what's that?
I'm getting 2 stories. Should I get my popcorn?
I'll make it quick. I don't think you have time to make some popcorn. So obviously, on the positive end, year and a half ago is when I first met Mark, and my life has been forever changed because Mark was up here. Well, still is. Mark's up here, and I was way down here. I was part of the 33% that he brought up with him, and I'm almost at his level. Almost. Not quite there, but I'm still taking in all of his value. I'm still open mind when we're having masterminds back and forth, and I appreciate those times because I know that it's helping me rise up, and I know that it's also helping Mark rise up at the same time because he's pulling me up, right? So that's an example of the positive side, because I mean, it's not just Mark. There's a lot of other people who have helped me over the years, but it's because I made the choice to start listening to certain podcasts, to start reading certain books, to take in all of that information that's going to help me rise up. Now, as far as the negative side,
I'm sorry, I know I'm interrupting you, but I just
That's
want to
fine.
like really emphasize that he said he made the choice to do that, right? Like it wasn't like he was just like, well, I could have just been another guy that like I would ask a question here or there, but it's like, no, I want to surround myself with the right people. I made that choice. I made the choice that I want to be better. And a lot of people don't make that choice, and they still think of themselves as their identity of that other person. So either they don't think they should associate themselves with that, or they don't think they're good enough, or whatever the core belief is that they just don't, and they don't make that choice. So I think that's just super profound that you said I made that choice because you totally.
Yeah, and we can go even deeper with making that choice, because we have people that come to us that want to level up to where we're at. Even though I'm not as leveled up as Mark, people still come to me and they want my advice. They want the value that I can bring them. But that's not enough. You can't just take in information, then all of a sudden, poof, you're at this level. You have to make a daily choice. You have to not just hang out and get value from me, but start taking my advice and implementing it and making that choice every single day to level up. Because you can't just say you're going to go to the gym and research it and everything else. You have to make the choice every day to go to the gym to see the results. If you want to get that body like Mark,
no one wants a body like me.
Coconut shoulders and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You need to actually make the choice every day, like Mark does. Every day, Mark makes the choice to go to the gym. He makes the choice to eat a certain way because he wants to level up to, I don't know who you have in mind.
Chris Hemsworth, clearly.
Oh, there you go.
Me and him almost spitting images. I'm getting there, right? No.
Close. You're so close.
1%, right?
Yeah, exactly. 1% is closer than 0.
Yeah.
So the point is, though, is it goes hand in hand with the negative stuff. If you are hanging out with people that, like we were saying, are only at $60,000 a year, and you are making only $60,000 a year, is because you're making that choice to hang out with these people, to do the things they do, to go to the bars on the weekend, to drown out your sorrows of needing to work a 9 to 5. And you hate your boss, you hate your job, you hate waking up early. You're making that choice every day. That is on you. So now make better choices and you'll have better results. It's literally that simple. But if we bring it back to a negative story.
I'm glad, because I was going to ask. I wasn't going to let you escape this. You told me story time. You told me 2, all right?
Yeah. I was once in those exact same shoes as the $60,000 a year people. I was working a 9 to 5. I absolutely hated my boss. There was no way to sugarcoat it. He was a complete asshole. he would berate his employees into the ground, make them feel like shit, all because a simple mistake cost him maybe $100, maybe $100. And he gets so upset. So anyway, I was in that group of people, and we all just took it and accepted it. And that's how our boss is. And we would drink beer every night after work, and we would just do things and take actions that weren't helping any one of us. We just accepted it, and that was our life. And we all made around the same amount of money. And it wasn't until I made the choice that this is not good enough, and I quit my job, and now I get to hang out with Mark all the time. So
That's pretty sweet. That's a good reward. Like, that's a good freaking prize at the end of it.
Yeah, I get to hang out with the most modest person I've ever met.
Super modest. But it's crazy. It's so funny that it's like that. I'm sure all those people that you were hanging out with, they thought they were doing more. I'm sure they're like, oh yeah, I'm doing all these things great in my life and everything.
Yeah.
When you hang around with a bunch of delusional people that are going to feed into your delusions and tell you things to make you feel good instead of be good, you're going to stay at that level, right?
Yeah, I think it's so profound what you just said, how people will tell you things to make you feel good instead of be good. And that's the difference between someone who is at the same plane as you and someone who is helping you rise up to their level. Is they're going to straight up tell you what you need to be doing to be better, to level up. And sometimes it's painful to hear that, you know, you aren't good enough in this area, you need to improve. But just know that those conversations are not the hard conversations to get rid of the vampires. That is I don't want to say hard, but it's like difficult to hear.
Yeah,
What's
like,
that?
Yeah, like difficult, right?
Yeah, it's difficult to hear those sometimes, because he's really opening you up and saying, you know, you're not good here, but you're great here. And all of it comes from a place of love, and all of it comes from a place of trying to help you level up. So it's easier to swallow those than having a conversation with someone and they're saying, no, you're a vampire, go away.
And that's exactly it. I think if you are that person that's helping people rise above your station, and you're hearing people, like, you're giving the advice and they're making you feel like you're the villainous one, like, you have to know that, like, it's just, they're going to be tearing you down, and that's somebody that you have to stop giving advice to. And I mean, like, Renee had to learn this the hard way when he first came into, like, the business, because he's such a good guy. Like, he wanted to help everybody, he wanted to give everybody his knowledge, he wanted to do all those kind of things, but then he kept giving it to the wrong people. He was giving away his time, his energy, his thoughts, his feelings to all these wrong people, and it was leaving him empty inside, because those people didn't care. Like, they didn't actually really want it. They just wanted him to do it for him, and they weren't taking any of the advice. They're just waiting for him to just, you know, end up working for them, and that isn't conducive to anybody's success, right?
No, it wasn't conducive to my success, because now all my time and energy is wasted. Now I don't have the same amount of time and energy to put towards my own business and my own success. So stop being a vampire. Just don't do that. Don't do
So is
that.
there any, like, last thing we'll leave people with, is there any other tactic that you can say that people can use to get themselves out of these situations that are in those negatives, other than having, like, just a simple conversation about expectations? Is there anything else that people can be doing?
Well, I mean, you can physically remove yourself from a certain situation, but I understand that some of those situations, you can't just physically remove yourself. If you have a coworker that's kind of being a little bit of a vampire, you can't just be like, okay, well, I'm going to go home for the day. You can't do that. So in those situations, you can just don't let their negative energy, what they're saying, enter into your mind. And when they are giving you all kinds of negativity and stuff, that's when you can just plug in some headphones and start listening to a podcast.
Yeah, or like have that bear riding that unicycle in your head, in your head while you wait for the conversation to be over, and then you move on with your life, right? Because in the end of the day, once again, it's a choice to feed into other people's bullshit and have other people tear you down. You don't have to, as much as it does suck sometimes to hear people like say certain things, you don't actually have to feed into it.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to make the choice to accept that stuff. You don't have to make the choice to take what they're saying to heart. You can make better choices.
100%. And if you know it's something that's it's so hard to be surrounded by, it's time to change yourself to being better. So maybe this has been the best job that you've always wanted to have. So you have to say like how hard you want to fight for this job, or maybe there's a better job out there for you. And then you have to make a choice like that, right? So in the end of the day, it's all going to come down to choices and the way that you want to interact and want your life to be designed. So is there anything else that you want to leave people with? I think this is such a big topic. I think so many people try to make this seem so simplistic. It's just like, yes. Oh, like you're just stop hanging out with your friends or stop doing this, stop doing that. And it's just like, well, it's so much harder than that. And a lot of times it's not very, very simple. So usually it's like you have to do simple actions, but the overall circumference of it all isn't very simple. So is there anything you want to leave people with?
Yeah, so I just wanted to paint a little picture for those in the corporate world, because there's so many different levels in the corporate world. So if you are new to a company and you right away, you're like, I love this company. I like what their standards, I like what they stand for and what we do here. But you're hanging out with the bottom tier people in, let's say, warehousing, but you want to promote yourself and get to the level of, let's say, even assistant manager or manager or something. Start hanging out with the managers, start friending the managers, and watch how fast you will actually boom, 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 level up to that status. Don't try to become a manager hanging out with the people that are driving forklifts all day long.
I love that. And it's so funny because the people that will do that, the people that will actually go hang out with the managers and try to do things out of the kindness of the heart, also for their own benefit, for the managers and everything like that, those are usually the ones that are ripped on from the people that have no goals, the people that are going nowhere, and the people that are just staying there. So it just shows like you're actually doing the right actions by doing those things, not the wrong actions that all these people want to say that you are. Because if the masses are doing one thing, I would always go to the other side of the coin.
Exactly. And if you're feeling that resistance to do that, that is your sign. That is how you know you are doing something right that's going to benefit you in the future.
100%, man. 100%. No, I love that. I love that. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for chilling out with us. And this was another amazing episode. We're back again. So you guys got some great episodes of Nene and me jamming out on that stuff. But we'd love to hear from you guys. Hit us up in the comment section if you have any questions about this, or there is a difficult situation that you've been running into that you want some help with, or just if you just want to tell us how amazing we are. I mean, Renee's Golden Pepper beard is looking phenomenal right now, right? Anyways, guys, we'd love to hear about that. Don't forget to hit the bell, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks for tuning into the Online Entrepreneur Experience. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any episodes that we're releasing and any of these amazing pieces of value that we're giving out. And if you could take the time out of your day and leave us a review, we'd be so grateful. We look forward to seeing you on that next episode.